Hello everyone and welcome, my name's Ali8. Today we're going to take a look at the PlayStation 3 controller, comparing it with the PlayStation 4 controller, seeing what's improved, what's changed, whether or not you guys may prefer the PlayStation 4 controller. Now some things have been changed from the PlayStation 3 version. Also taking a look at some of the new features of the PlayStation 4 controller, because there's quite a lot of new things packed into this controller as well. Make sure you're also checking out the unboxing here on my channel and also some gameplay of the PlayStation 4. I don't want you guys to be missing out on any of that awesome stuff. And then also make sure you subscribe, because I'll be doing lots of videos for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 once everything launches and becomes available in the near future, which is going to be awesome. So first of all, let's take a look at some of the specific new things with the PlayStation 4 controller. You can see here we have a speaker directly in the middle. This will allow for additional sound and audio to come out of the controller to enhance whichever game you're playing. Some games won't use this, some will. I know that some games, if you get shot and a bullet flies past you, you'll hear it on the speakerphone here on the controller, and some other games as well include it. And I know the game that I played, which comes built in with the PlayStation 4 Playroom, which you can use using a PlayStation 4 camera. When you actually have your characters inside the controller when you're playing that game, you can hear them through the speaker, so that's quite cool. You also have on the front end here a headphone jack right here, and the PlayStation 4 comes with a headset as well. If you've seen my unboxing video, which allows you to actually chat to your friends, and that can be plugged directly into there. And that's just a standard headphone jack as well, so any other headsets can be used from there. You've got this new touch pad on the front of the controller here, and this is also a button that can be pressed in as well. We've got the share button and the options buttons. I'll go over the share button in a little bit. And then on the front side, we've got the brand new color sensor bar as well, which is awesome. So one thing to note quickly is the fact that actually the front here, you can see that the PlayStation 4 has the micro USB. However, if we go over to the PlayStation 3 controller, it actually used, I believe, mini USB. So some slight changes there, but all of the cables and stuff that you need will be included with the controllers, so that's not really a problem, just something to worth noting. Now, the first thing to see is actually the thumbsticks. So the thumbsticks on the PlayStation 3 version were domed. If you had a look at them like this, you can see that they're dome shaped. There's no edge to them. Some people complained that your fingers could fall off quite easily. Some people like this grip more than the other controllers, so the Xbox 360 controllers. I quite like using the PlayStation 3 controller, and I like the thumbsticks, but there's definitely been some improvements for the PlayStation 4 version. So if we now have a look at the PlayStation 4 version, we can see that the actual center of the controller is still domed like the PS3. However, it's edged with its separate ring, which allows you to place your thumb on the dome part, but then not lose grip and sort of keep yourself on that thumbstick at all times, and you're not going to slip off at any point. It's also got this edge to it here, so if you're the kind of person that likes to put your thumb directly on the edge of the controller and hold it on the edge, you can do that as well if that's something you prefer. So definitely a really nice design for the thumbsticks. That's something that I really like. Now, in terms of the actual thumbsticks, you can see that the thumbsticks are actually slightly shorter now. The PlayStation 3 version, the thumbsticks are actually taller. And now in terms of having smaller thumbsticks, that means you get slightly less sort of mobility and angle on the thumbsticks, which may not be a problem for some of you, but for someone like me who always uses control freaks, which are actually add-ons to the controller, and these are essentially adding height to your thumbsticks, which allows for better mobility. Having shorter thumbsticks is going to be a problem. Now, the good guys at Control Freaks actually have PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of their Control Freaks ready to pre-order, so you can check that out in the description. I literally can't play without these when I'm playing Call of Duty and first-person shooters, so I'm going to definitely need these, especially for the shorter thumbsticks on the PlayStation 4 version. Just something worth noting, so you can find that stuff in the description. So definitely improvements over the thumbsticks there. In terms of the actual shape of the controller, if we go sideways here, you can see that A, the PS4 version is taller and longer, and B, the actual part you're going to be gripping with here is actually bigger, and it feels a lot nicer. So some people complain that the PlayStation 3 controller felt small in their hands, and it does feel quite small. I mean, I got used to it. I played both PS3 and Xbox 360, and I like the PS3 controller. I sort of just didn't really grip it, I just sort of held it in my hands. But with the PlayStation 4 controller, you definitely can grip it and hold it fully. It goes straight into the palm of your hands, you can wrap your hands around it, and it feels more like a full controller, if that makes sense. It's definitely a nicer feel to it. In terms of weight, the PS3 controller is quite light. It depends which PS3 controller you're using, to be fair, because there are several versions. The PS4 version feels a little bit more fuller, a little bit more heavier, and definitely nicer and got that fuller experience when you're holding it. In terms of the actual sticks at the back, or the buttons at the back here, we have got the return of the paddles at the bottom and then buttons at the top. One thing to note is that, and this is sort of hard to explain unless you actually give it a go, but one thing to note is that the PlayStation 3 paddles, when you press them, it didn't really go all the way down. It didn't really feel like you're pressing anything. It just felt like something that was sort of bending. However, on the PlayStation 4 version of the controller, you can push it all the way down. It feels like you're pressing an actual button, so you know once you've hit the bottom, which is very, very nice. So that feels good. If you like to use the triggers, of course, if you play Call of Duty a lot, that's something that's definitely an improvement. We've got pretty much the same buttons on the right-hand side when the D-pad is pretty much the same. One thing, however, is again, the sort of buttons on the PS4 version. Once you push down on the D-pad, it feels like you've pressed a button. It sounds weird, but once you press the D-pad on the PlayStation 3, it feels very different. And you're going to be navigating around when you're typing in text and you're on menus a lot with the D-pad. So having that sort of slightly nicer, fuller button pressing experience of the PlayStation 4 is hard. It isn't something that can be sort of explained over a video, but once you're feeling it, it definitely feels a lot nicer. So one of the final things to cover now is a touchpad. This is literally a touchpad which you can use to navigate around certain games. It is also a button as well, so in Call of Duty, if you press that, your scoreboard will come up, I believe, and if you press it again, it will disappear. On the right-hand side here, if we have a look, we actually have the options on the PlayStation 4 controller. That's going to bring up most of the menu features. So if you press that options button, that's pretty much the equivalent of the older start and select options that you had on the PlayStation 3 controller. However, you do not have start anymore, or select. In fact, you've got the options buttons and the share button. If you press the share button on your PlayStation 4, you'll be able to capture images. The PlayStation 4 will constantly be recording what's happening on your screen for the past, I believe it's anywhere between 1 minute and 10 minutes. I'm not sure on the exact time. I'll probably have it in the description for you guys. But if you press that button, you can bring that up while you're in game and share either pictures or videos with your friends on the PlayStation Network, which is very, very cool. I've covered, of course, the speaker, covered the headphone jack, which is right there as well. And then pretty much the same PlayStation button, just in a slightly different position, directly between the thumbsticks rather than a little bit above it as well. So it's literally right there rather than up a little bit. So that pretty much concludes the PlayStation 4 versus PS3 video. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave it down below in the comment section. And then, of course, I'll be covering the Xbox One controllers and comparing the Xbox One versus the PlayStation 4 controller as well. But hopefully you've enjoyed. If you've done so, give it a quick thumbs up. That'd be really, really appreciated. Make sure you're subscribed for all future videos. And I'll see you with more PlayStation 4 videos.